Hey everybody, it's a Raging Papist once again. Thank you for sticking around. I know it's been quite a while since I've made a video, but a couple of topics have come up that I'd like to make some videos on, and I finally have time now to do it, so it's time to sit down and just start talking, I guess. Something occurred to me last night when you know that I'm an avid gamer, and I really like politics and spirituality and all of that, and a very interesting discussion came up last night. It was regarding Star Wars Episode 7 poster and generally reactionary type thinking, generally reactionary politics. And we started talking about white culture and what does that mean. And it was really fascinating because I knew that some of the gentlemen that I play games with are pretty left wing, but I didn't realize just how left wing they were until last night when as most reactionaries, what we have to do is we have to don a mask when we talk to people. We always have to claim that we are the centrist, or both the right and the left are weird to us, because you have to have a way of blending in with these people so that you are not immediately destroyed uh, by their thought. Otherwise, they will gang up on you. And I just thought it was very interesting because in the dialogue that I was having with this, frankly, he's a good friend of mine. Um, it was very fascinating because on the topic of white culture, uh, I made a statement saying, well, it's just so funny how on Twitter and how people on the far left. I tried to isolate them even. I tried to say people are so far left are just saying the positive thing about this movie is that there's no white male lead. And I started talking a little bit about white culture and how I just don't like the pandering. You see, you find ways of coaching your terms. And their immediate reply to me was, there is no white culture. There is no European culture. There's no European peoples. They're all just there. And at first I thought the gentleman was joking, but then I realized no, he is sincere, and he clarified it. And that well, you're talking about sort of the WASP culture of American politics, or the American society of the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, even though we aren't really talking about that. We're talking about European culture, European peoples, Irish, English, Italian, Spanish, French. Yes, these are all ethnicities. These are all distinct cultures of their own, but they are all European together. Pan-European, pan-white, it is part of our Western identity. These various cultures. So when I refer to white culture, that is what I am speaking to. All of us, all of us. And it was very interesting how his mind operated in a very distinctly different way than yours or mine may operate. And it was very interesting because by the end of the discussion, I felt that I was so on the back heel, I was so horrified by what he was saying that I had completely shut down. And I was just wondering, obviously I didn't say anything. I even decided just not to fight him on this. I will find a way to red pill him a different way, as I try to do with everybody. But I started thinking, why should I maintain this relationship? What is it about this person who is so radically different than myself? Why should I keep this up? And I would say it has to come down to the individual, because he is one of my college friends. The entire group that I enjoy role-playing with are all friends from college. And I just thought it was interesting because he and I are completely isolated. We have really no way of communicating besides through Dungeons and Dragons, and we share little commonality besides that. And from a reactionary standpoint, you think we had all the common ground in the world. Look, we're both white, we're both males. I am Catholic. He is, I think, ostensibly Christian, sort of. He's progressive. So I think he'd probably call himself a Christian, but it's kind of a vague spiritual kind of thing. And I just thought it was very fascinating. Why should I maintain the relationship when he's just so different than me? I would argue that I should maintain this relationship because I don't like the idea that you would cut a person off from your life based purely on ideological stances. I don't like that. Plus, I can make the argument, well, you should occasionally engage ideologically with progressive so that you can refine yourself, so that you can recall what you're up against. Because when you're watching reactionary videos all the time, when you're hanging out in the reactosphere with all these people, listening to Catholic or Christian or right-wing anything, it's very easy to slip into the, oh, well, this is how people are. These are my people, and this is my bubble, and I am safe here. But it is important to realize that we in the West, specifically us reactionaries, we are on the back heel. We are not the majority. And it's important that we don't lead ourselves mistakenly to believe that, oh, everyone's just sort of like us anyway. And so eventually we'll all become red-pilled. People will only become red-pilled if you push for it, because that's not how they think. It's not how they operate. And I would go on to make the claim, the generalization, I suppose, that liberals in general are fairly dim thinkers. Anyone can be a good person, but the level of observation and internal thought, it just seems fairly diminished with a left-winger. They sort of almost take the dogmatic approach that this is what they have been told. They've been given the most mundane, the most terse of observations to support it, and that's how it is. Because, for instance, if you take a look at the Star Wars poster for the new movie coming out, all I did was raise various observations. Where's the white guy? Why are the villains white? Just mundane observations that maybe there's even no merit to. Maybe there's no merit to at all. But the very fact that you would make those observations is a threat to them, because in making simple physical observations could challenge their narrative and challenge their view. And it causes cognitive dissonance within them. And so they don't want to listen anymore. They will shut down. So I don't think this gentleman will ever find my YouTube channel. I don't think he would take any interest in it at all, actually. But and he is one of my good friends. I do want to maintain the relationship, but that's something that each of us has to decide for ourselves. Because what would you do if you were in a relationship with a progressive woman? Could you do that? Or for the ladies out there, a progressive guy who just kind of wants to white knight and lay at your feet all day and just tell you how wonderful you are. I don't know what betas do. I don't know what what progressive guys do, I guess. But I'm just wondering how would you deal with that? Would you come to the conclusion that you need this relationship, that this is a friendship that is worthwhile to you, or this romantic relationship? Because at some point you have to be able to distinguish yourself from the group that you are with, for your own identity. And I know that's very counter to progressive thought, because you should have no identity. But it's about building yourself up and understanding who you are, and being able to identify with others, understand others, but have certainty about yourself. Be objective, be rational, be understanding. So, because for instance, some may say that, oh, we had an argument. I'm not going into the full details of what we discussed. I'm just hitting around the issues so that my audience kind of understands that I was placed in a position with a progressive last night that was very interesting and really showed the dichotomy between a reactionary and a progressive thinker. And what can be said? I think that friendships should be maintained. Interpersonal relationships are a good thing. They do build you up. Engaging with progressives, whether it be negatively or positively, will build you. It can build you up. And I don't just mean doubling down then on your thought. If a gentleman beats you in a debate, you have to concede the debate. If he did it honestly, in good faith, obviously. If he's mocking you, that's not a debate. And then take that information apply it to your own thinking. Maybe you even come to a different conclusion, but use it to bolster you. And that's sort of my message on maintaining relationships with the progressive, because we are, I guess if you want to be all relativistic here, you know, all wishy-washy. Yeah, we're all people. Yeah, but even if you don't recognize that we're all people, you reject that view that we all have dignity and some worth, then purely on a utilitarian basis, you can say, well, I have now bolstered myself because I have received an ass whooping, and I now know how to apply it to others. I now know what they may say. I now know how they think. So, and don't destroy a relationship, a foundation that you have had for a long time with people. I can tell you that firsthand. I have cut friendships before, and I would never recommend doing that. It's awful. It's awful to lose a friend. But at the same time, be your own man. If this is hurtful to you, if you are thinking about dating a progressive woman because she has all the things on the surface, she has all the things that you're attracted to, you know, either her job or she just kind of gets you, and things are comfortable, I would encourage you, don't settle for that. You know, don't settle for that, because in the end, does she really get you? I mean, what would she really think if you gave your real opinion on these politics, on these matters? Would she be aghast? Would she be horrified? So, and then you're not going into this relationship honestly. I don't know. It's very interesting to me, just pondering relationships between the alt-right and the far left, because it just strikes me that leftists have a hard time making simple observations, and they don't want to make observations because of the fact that maybe unconsciously it could conflict with their worldview, and so that's not allowed. They will very readily defend themselves from this external thought, from this external thing. So share with me your thoughts on how do you deal with relationships that are not of what you yourself may call yourself a part of. You know, if you're a gamer, how do you deal with people that don't like games? If you're Catholic or Christian, how do you deal with well, I know how I deal with sort of not skeptics, but sort of the rabid atheists. As long as we're all sort of, as long as we have other common ground, I can see to that. But share some of your stories, share some of your thoughts, and I would encourage you not to break relationships. Just do the best you can with what you got in front of you. I suppose I should defend myself. If the gentleman that I spoke to last night ever encounters these videos, that know that you are a friend, and I can have disagreements with you, but I have my own frame of mind. I have my own frame of reference, my own thoughts and opinions that are radically different to yours. But thanks for joining, everybody. Hope to speak to you again soon. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.